Hi, this is Sarit Switzer, and welcome to the It Is Taught podcast, a podcast devoted to the teachings of Rabbi Shneur Zalman of Liadi as recorded in his most famous work, the Tanya. My hope for this show is to make these teachings accessible and relatable to the average person, regardless of prior Jewish education or affiliation. The episodes follow the prescribed daily study portions and are meant to serve as practical lessons in how to live your life as your true self and develop an authentic and powerful relationship with your Creator. I have personally experienced the effects the study of this work has had on me, and I'm excited to share what I can of this knowledge with you. So please join me on this journey of learning, self-growth, and connection with your source. Hi, and welcome to the It Is Taught podcast. This is episode 501 for the 16th of Nissan in a regular year. Today's episode is for day 2 of Pesach, which is a Yom Tov, so I am pre-recording this episode. So with that being said, do you ever meet the kind of people who describe themselves as being not particularly religious, but very spiritual? And they feel like that they have a very rich spiritual life without needing to ascribe themselves to any particular religion? So this is, in fact, the theme of what we're going to be learning about in today's episode, about what this means exactly, what it means to be spiritual and not religious, and how, at least according to the Alter Rebbe, it doesn't actually make any sense. And you'll often find with these kind of people who describe themselves as being very spiritual but not religious, that they're really big spiritual seekers, and they seem to be very genuine spiritual seekers. Sometimes they'll travel all around the world searching for the truth, yearning for the truth, with an unquenchable truth, and they'll search here and there, read a lot of books and think and philosophize and journal and all kinds of different things like that. But yet they never seem to get to the point of being able to commit to a religious life. And what the Alter Rebbe likens this to is like the type of people who stand at a riverbank and declare water, water everywhere and not a drop to drink. So basically what we'll learn is that these kind of people are really missing the point. And being spiritual, quote unquote, without being religious is really, really backwards. And if you've been following along in the last few episodes where we've been talking about the analogy of a bird and using a bird and the makeup of a bird as being analogous to our service of God, we learned about how the wings of the bird are very important because they are what allow our service to fly upwards. It's the love and fear of God that we have, but they're not the main aspects of the bird. The main aspects of the bird is the body of the bird, which is the meat and potatoes, like the actual service, day-to-day life, living and doing God's commandments. So these kind of people who describe themselves as being spiritual but not religious, they might have this great sense of awe of their Creator, this great sense of love for their Creator, but they're missing the main point. They're missing the body of the bird. So let's get into the text and see how the Alter Rebbe explains this. And this is the conclusion of chapter 40 in Likkutei Amarim today. So the Alter Rebbe says that here, that even though, so he begins actually by asking a question, because we leaving off last time. If you remember last time, and go back and listen to yesterday's episode if you haven't already, as always. So last time we talked about how this whole idea about how love and fear of God are not the main aspects of service, just like the wings are not the main aspects of the bird, but the main aspects of the bird is the body of the bird. The main aspects of our service are the mitzvahs, are the commandments of God. So now the Alter Rebbe has a question on this, and he says, but love and fear are also contained within the 613 commandments. So you could say that they are really essential. They're part of the body of the bird, right? Nevertheless, they are still called wings. Why? Because the purpose of love, the whole purpose of why we want to love God, is for serving God out of love. And love without service is called love of pleasures, to delight in God. And this is like to have a taste of what we're going to experience in the next world. And when we receive our reward in the next world. So in the next world, basically, we're all going to be in this state of where we delight in God. We're going to delight in godliness. And this, it's like we're going to receive our reward for our service during this time then. But says the Alter Rebbe, and here he cites the Gemara in Masechet Eruvin, page 22a, where it basically says that this is the wrong timing. This isn't the time for this type of delight and pleasures. It says there, v'hayom lasotam, ulemachar lekebel scharam, which literally means today is to do them and tomorrow is to receive the reward. So our time in our life right now is not to sit around and just delight in spirituality and bask in godliness. That's going to be our reward in the future. What we should be focusing on doing right now is to actually just be serving God. And also this level of like this extreme delight that like is giving us like a taste of the next world. Some people could get to this level if you're a very, 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 very holy person on a very, very high level. However, this doesn't apply to most of us. And so for those people that did not get to this level of being able to have a taste of the world to come and is still on this level of just yearning and thirsting for God and is like reaching out, going out to him all day long and is not able to quench his thirst through the waters of the Torah that are right in front of them. So again, this is like those spiritual seekers that search here and there, every end of the earth, every book, all over the place, searching for God and searching to quench their thirst, and it's unquenchable. So the Alter Rebbe says this is like a person who is standing at the edge of a river and screams out, "Water, water to drink," and there's water right in front of them. So over this, the Alter Rebbe says the prophet, meaning to say Yeshayahu, in chapter 55:1, laments over these kind of people. And he says, Hoi, kol tzameh lechu lemaim. Anybody who's thirsty, just go straight to the water. Meaning to say that if you're so thirsty for God, if you want God so much, just go to Torah. Just go to the water. It's right in front of you. And now the Alter Rebbe says that this verse must be referring to those kind of people who have this tremendous love and fear of God, but are not focusing on in the right place, because it can't just be referring to somebody who wants to study Torah and isn't studying Torah, because then the Alter Rebbe says simply, if we read it in that simple way, then we could just say, okay, whoever is thirsty, like meaning thirsty for Torah, just let them go and learn Torah. Why not? So why is the prophet lamenting over these kind of people? And so clearly, says the Alter Rebbe, it's because it's not referencing people who have this like clear desire to learn Torah. It's that they have this love and fear of God, but they don't recognize the fact that love and fear of God without Torah is kind of pointless, and they're missing the point. And the Alter Rebbe says that this whole idea is discussed elsewhere at length. So that's the end of this section. So again, to recap, we started off talking about this idea of spiritual seekers. And I believe that this is kind of what the Alter Rebbe is referring to, people who are very spiritual. They have this great love of God. They have this great fear of God, but they are making this the primary focus rather than realizing that the love and fear of God, while they are very good and important to do in order to elevate our service of God, it's not the service itself. The service itself of God is the body. It's the body of the bird, the body of the mitzvahs, the Torah and mitzvahs. So step one, the basis of being somebody who connects to God is you have to do God's will. You have to perform God's commandments and keep his Torah. Step two, afterwards, then you can start thinking about love and fear, because love and fear without service is empty, and it's not really the point. So I hope that was clear. And tomorrow we're going to move on and get into chapter 41. I will speak to you then. Thanks for listening to the It Is Taught podcast, hosted by Sarit Switzer. This podcast is dedicated in loving memory of my maternal grandfather, Avraham Yitzchak ben Binyamin HaKohen of blessed memory. Music by Shoshana. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to support the show, please share it with others and subscribe on YouTube, Apple iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And make sure to leave us a 5-star review. To find out more about the It Is Taught project, including more information on my soon-to-be published book, please visit our website, itistaught.com. To catch the latest from me, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Looking forward to speaking with you tomorrow, and until then, have a great day.